Hi everyone, my name is Gediminas Urbonas. I'm an artist from Lithuania, now based in Massachusetts, where I work at MIT, where I work and teach at MIT. And of course, you may be wondering whether there is art program at MIT. Yes, indeed, it is. It's an art program that was founded by Georgi Kepes, a legendary Bauhaus artist, who brought humanities to the Institute of Technologies, where the technologies are invented, debated, and developed. And that was in the 60s, and since then, this program has been working and questioning technologies. So the artist's role at MIT is to question technologies and to question utility of the technologies that they advocate. And Kepes was calling to reclaim citizenship of the environment, environment that was, at that time, in the post-war era in the United States, under their ecological challenges. Every day at MIT, we talk about the role of technology and culture in transforming society. I experienced this notion not only theoretically, but through my life. The transformation of the political, social, and economic and value systems all had enormous effect on the formation of myself as an artist, helping me to understand questions of citizenship and belonging. Today, I want to share with you my work by showing you a few projects and how it reflects the idea of the citizenship and its role in today's society and environment. For me, art project is a model. Model that is presentation and representation of the reality, but also the reality itself. It is a real and fiction at the same time. I work with model and modeling, and my work is grounded in a real life, but at the same time, it is a fiction, allowing people, participants, and audience to activate their imagination and maybe inspire them for action. Protest Lab. The Protest Lab started in Vilnius in 2005 as a lab where the positive forms of free speech and fearless speech to power took place, engaging citizens to reflect and take action regarding disappearance and privatization of public space, and in particular, houses of culture that changed their function during the changes during the 90s. Enormous and speedy transformation from planned economy to the market system left gaps where business and administration got caught into conflict with citizens, withdrawing them from the decision-making. Cities are not only a place for production and consumption. City is also a space for emotional experience. The last cinema theater in center of Vilnius that was closed, and the plans for demolishment and transforming it into private penthouse were in place in 2004 and 2005. And my intention was to create a temporal experimental zone for investigation why people do not care about the disappearance of cinemas, public spaces, and why no one is protesting. The simple initiative soon was accepted and appreciated by almost 300 participants from different fields and neighborhoods, for whom soon-to-be-closed cinemas suddenly became a signifier of various problems they experience, but didn't put into wording yet. Need of space for playing, singing, cooking, gaming, just socializing, and finally, watching movies together. We turned the cinema from projection house to a house of production of protest. But protest was not accepted there. Cinema became a space for testing the protest and inviting people to present their protest scenario, and various models of creative protesting were generated. Soon the artistic initiative grew into the citizen movement that questioned the right to the city, urging government to make changes in planning and insisting on participation of the communities who live there. The city belongs not only to professionals, but also to amateurs. So art project inspired a civic consciousness. To create city as a spectacle means to involve participants as actors and characters. Imagine if we create infrastructure of protest in the city. We can create a very creative city involving all people as participants that through the action would build a public space in the city. We see how all these forms of participation can create their own publishing and media channels, even legislation system, and therefore become not passive consumers, but active producers of the city and its emotional spaces.
O, mes turim lojantį šunį. Mes ateinam, apžiūrim mikrofoną ir tada bėgam lodami. Kažkodėl. O, tai buvo įspūdingas šuolis. Ką jūsų šuo norėjo pasakyti tokį saltą, kaip jūs manote? Tai baisu? Tau baisu, kad nebeliks Lietuvos? Matot, pritarimas visiškas.
Thank you. I will jump now to another project that is called Villa Lituania. In 2006, we were asked to develop a project for Venice Biennial, the oldest and most prestigious art exhibition in the world. Villa Lituania project addressed unresolved traumatic event in the history, lost territory of the embassy in Rome, that before the World War II was a property of Lithuania. By the Italian fascists, it was given over to Stalinist Soviets, and until now remains under the governance of Russia. My idea was to use pigeons as vehicle for symbolic language and a poetic action. A pigeon race that is culture and sport event through which all involved countries, Lithuania, Russia, and Italy, could unite in participation. Proposal suggested to build a pigeon loft in Rome and organize the race for a specially designed trophy. Frankly, I had no idea about pigeon fencing then. Homing pigeons are not just regular pigeons from San Marco Square in Venice, but athletes meticulously trained and worth thousands of dollars. I met with pigeon fanciers from Italy, Mr. Carboni, and Pigeon Fanciers Federation in Lithuania and Russia to discuss project and their participation and organization of pigeon race for the opening of the Venice Biennial. (1,200 pigeons from Italy, Lithuania, and Russia came to Venice on the barge and departed to race from Lagoon on early and bright June morning, forming a huge flock, a firework-like spectacle. Citizens of free countries met through an art project that in the end claimed belonging to a different type of collective identity, identity of Pigeon Republic. Discussing and debating, thinking not about territories, but about common ear we all share, and not belonging to any nation, inspired to me to develop a Carbon Nation class, working with Carbon Nation Pavilion and Carbon Nation project in Venice Biennial. And that is next project that we develop together with MIT. Utopia. The project Utopia is a model for environmental remediation that was commissioned for European Cultural Capital in Turku. Located in Turku archipelago, conglomerate of islands in the Baltic Sea, where the ecology and local biosphere are largely affected by the historic military interventions and expansion of industrial agriculture after World War II. With the recent developments of network technologies, Finnish Navy is retreating from the islands, and there is a question how to bring affected landscape and veterans of military back to civic life. At the same time, how to bring people back to the islands. What happens with the larger military infrastructure that is left in the landscape without former function? I found lots of sheep on the islands that were grazing meadows, and its way contributed to sustain existing biosphere as well as to beautify the landscape. The microbes on the sheep's body communicate with the microbes of the soil and create intricate system of communication that has a large effect to the ecology of the coastal area, and through that contribute to the cleaning of the sea. Sheep brings people back to the island and encourages interest in local production. So far, nobody in Finland was producing sheep cheese. So I thought about proposing to introduce a new product to the market, ecological sheep cheese that could be made by former soldiers or their family members becoming farmers. The Baltic Sheep Cheese Workshop, where farmers together with soldiers were learning how to make different kind of cheese, took place in Archipelago in 2011. Cheese is understood here not only as a product, but as tool for pedagogy that could help to transform local situation and affect ecology of the place. The cheese could ripen in the bunkers left by the army. Sheep grazing meadows would bring people back to the islands and transform military infrastructure to the emotional and environmental infrastructure. Thank you. And the last project I wanted to show you is the water age that builds on the hypothesis that future age will be water age, when humans and cities would need to adapt to the life in or under the water. I wonder if in the future, some of us may live lives that are more amphibian, and if, instead of being a dystopian, that might instead impact beneficially on the values that we live with and by. I'm working between MIT and Oxford universities to investigate river cultures and riparian territories they create. Rivers are important public spaces in the cities. They are central spaces. This building is also on the river, and we are very close to the river now. The water is a common good and public interest that needs to be sustained. Rivers are important in exercising public culture. Since the 70s, artists at MIT had interest in rivers addressing the inhuman scale of development after the war American cities took place and the damage made to the environment, as well as the quality of urban life. Water Age project looks at the sediment and toxicity approaching river as recording device that collects all kinds of human interventions. Working in Oxford, we set up a series of workshops that teach participants of new type of understanding, forms that teach and experiment with listening to the environment and possible dialogues with other species. We proposed an experimental device, empowered pleasure boat that could allow new types of sensing the water, a hybrid form that to be seen, to be heard, and to be felt with our bodies that makes us sensi-able in regards to the surrounding environment, to the public space, and to the cultural memory. In short, I would like to see the river not a site of numbness and forgetting, but site of sensitivity and remembering. Together with the Canal and River Trust and the Outdoor Swimming Society, the Vet Symposium was organized, asking people from various disciplines to discuss water-related issues in the water. My river research will continue this August in Mona, in Tasmania, at the Derwent River, where together with MIT students, we built a program that culminates in an exhibition of the design proposals addressing the severe heavy metal problems in the Derwent River, which surrounds the museum on all sides and is one of the most heavily polluted rivers in the world in terms of heavy metals. More complex designs requiring extra time and dollars would be built on the river over the time working with scientists and the lead scientists of Murray-Darling Basin Authority and river heavy metal specialists. Working with metal-eating bacteria biologists, we will work on proposals for architecture, art, engineering, and landscape projects that actively remediate and toxicity of the river. Thank you.
So, one question that's quite interesting, sort of following up from the app, it's down here at the bottom, if you don't mind, is it easy to make things simple for an artist? So this is a continuation of Owen's reference of Sir Richard Branson, who said it's hard to make something easy, and we've heard about it more. Again, Peter told us that it's hard to make something easy. So how about from art standpoint?
Well, artists tend to see things philosophically, and philosophically means dialectically, and this includes questioning the utility. So when you start to question the utility, when you start to questioning pragmatics, this of course complicates all the matters.
It sounds like it does, dialectics, pragmatics. So the answer is yes, it's hard to make things simple as an artist. Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, Gediminas Urbonas.